This is going to be kind of weird. Let's see if I can do this.
I just started the recording from here.
No, yeah, you can start the recording. I was going to try and record it to the live it to the page, and it's only going to show the speaker view is kind of weird, but that's okay. I'll just do the whole big thing. I'll just do gallery view for now. That's my only problem. Okay, well, I'm just going to gallery view it. Because it's nice, because I want everybody to have access to the same information. I truly understand that people cannot be on this call all the time every morning, and it's hard to get all the information across and have everybody on. But typically we have about 90 people on here, and there's only 37 right now. So that's people choosing not to be on, but we record them and do the best that we can to make sure the word spreads. So just as an FYI, make sure that you are going to your uplines again for questions. And then if you feel like you need a bunch of response and a bunch of answers, or you're sharing an amazing idea, then definitely put it on the PUC page. But we're managing that. So anyways, I got to share my shirt. I have my Be the Light shirt on, and it's been really neat because Be the Light, I've noticed it all over Facebook. And it's not even just through people in LuLaRoe. I don't know about you guys, but even yesterday I was scrolling through and there's people that are sharing about being the light or something about light. And so I think it's really neat. I feel like LuLaRoe tries to really be ahead of the curve, and especially with our Julia's or our Jill's and our Madison skirts, right? We always talk about we need to get pushing those, but we're kind of ahead of the curve. We came out with them a lot sooner than the rest of the world was ready for them, apparently. So make sure you push those skirts. Let me put a little umph in there for those skirts. They've been trying to get us to really buy them and style them, but I feel like our Be the Light is such a great example of what we are as leaders in this company, what we are as examples to LuLaRoe in this company, and as sponsors, is we need to be the light. We need to be the thing that when people go to their closet, they get excited when they see their LuLaRoe. And when people go and think about having business dealings with somebody and a consultant in LuLaRoe, that they're excited that we're the light for them. And at our Be the Light, you guys know that we shared last week about our dream manager, Dan. What did I just say that? Is it Dan? Julie, who is it? What's his name again? Sorry. Dan? Did you just barely
Dan Ross.
Dan Ross. Okay. Yeah, Dan Ross. And he is with, crap, I don't have my notebooks with me. He's with a company out of Arizona called what?
I don't even know what company it was.
What soft?
Infusionsoft.
Infusionsoft. I don't really know what it is, but we've kind of looked it up here and there. But he's with a company called Infusionsoft, and he literally is Infusionsoft's dream manager. They call him a dream manager. And Mark and Deanne had an opportunity to meet with him. They were there for something else, and I guess they said their niece, it works for this company. And she's like, you really got to meet this guy. And they're like, oh my gosh, do we really need to? It sounds kind of silly, but they met him and it changed their lives. I mean, they brought him in to speak to us. And I think he was one of the best keynote speakers we've had at any training. And I really appreciated him taking the time to come be with us. And, he obviously saw something in LuLaRoe as well. And so Julie and Michelle both touched on it last week and what we learned from that training. And so Julie is going to share, and it's neat too, because Julie's husband was there as well. And it really, I think both of you really loved him and his talk, so I'm excited to hear. So go ahead, Julie, you can take over.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Henton. For those of you who don't know me, I've been in LuLaRoe for just over 2 years. It was my 2-year anniversary in December. And I made coach in August, September of last year, something like that. I didn't write it down, which I should have. But like Brittany said, one of the trainings that really touched both me and my husband was from Dan. And on the way there, I was talking to Kate, because one of my big problems was my dream board. I had created a challenge for my team to either do or redo their dream board, and to kind of make a plan of attack to make those dreams come true. And I had a really, really tough time with it because a lot of my dreams were either already accomplished, which was awesome, or some of the dreams that I had to backtrack because they weren't making me happy. I had the dream of a housekeeper, and I had her for almost 8 months, and it was not making me happy. I couldn't get used to it. I did not like it as much as I tried. And for those of you that have it and love it, wonderful. It wasn't for me. So I had to rip that off and tell her not to come back and put another dream up there. And I couldn't find another dream to put up there. So I was just in a slump. And some of those things that were making my kids bratty that I wanted for them, and I had to backtrack on those. And I felt like I was in this bubble where I couldn't imagine a different life or something that I wanted for my family. And it was making it very hard for me to work as hard as I was. I wanted things for my team. I wanted things for my other girls, but I couldn't dream myself. So when Dan walked up on stage, I was like, hallelujah, that's why I'm here. Thank you. And when he challenged us to write down 100 dreams, honestly, I could not get very far. I did not know what I wanted. I knew I loved my family, and I knew that's where I wanted to spend time with them, but I was already spending time with them, and I was already accomplishing a lot of the things, so why push through? And one thing I'm going to do on the Pumped Up Chicks page when I'm done here, so you guys be maybe jotting them down and trying to get your 100 dreams written down, is I'll start a thread of maybe a picture of your dream board or a bunch of your 100 dreams. If you can write down 100, that would be awesome. And for a few reasons, is because dreams are contagious. You might read a dream on somebody else's page that you have never thought of, and that might go right to the top of your dream board. There are things that I've heard, I guess that was part of my problem too, is I was putting stuff on my dream board that I thought other people wanted to see from me that weren't making me happy. But then I was reading some other people's that, were way down on their list that went right to the top of my list. So dreams are contagious, and let's share them. You might read something that is going to light a fire in you and change your life and change the way you do your business. And 2, for accountability. If you tell me that you are going to want to cruise qualify, that is on the top of your dream board, and I see that you're ordering 30 a month for the past 2 months, you have your team there to call you out on it, to support you, to say, hey, what's going on? What do you need? What do we need to do here? What do you need to work on? What can we do together? And 3, when people hear your dreams, it is in their nature to help you. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help you accomplish your dreams. But if we don't know what they are, then we can't help you. So please, after this, when I start on the Pumped Up Chicks, write down your dreams, read other people's dreams. If you know somebody that posted something, write it down and maybe say, hey, I kind of have that similar dream. Let's be accountable to each other. Let me read your plan of attack and see if there's something that I can do to change mine. He defined dreams, and there's a couple definitions that I had written down that I really like, but one of my favorite, especially right now, is dreams are goals with legs. And I know we've probably heard that before, but I have really been pushing everybody who asks me to, how can I grow my group? How can I increase my sales? How can I grow my team? And I tell them, pound the pavement. One of the best things you can do is pound the pavement. And what do you pound the pavement with? Your legs. You don't pound the pavement with your fingers crossed, hoping that this will happen. You don't pound the pavement with your camera, taking photos of your inventory and simply posting it. You don't pound the pavement with your butt in the seat, messaging people. You get out there. Right. Thank you, Jennifer. You get out there, you pound the pavement. Dreams are goals with legs. Use your legs. Get out there, hand out cards, get out there, hand out leggings, get out there, book those parties, do your 72-hour game plan. Yes, I know we say it tons of times, but we say it tons of times because it works. Get out there, meet people, hand out your cards, compliment people, and spread the word. Have home parties. Another definition that I had heard that, well, this is Dan Rolfe's definition, is IDing things outside of our rut that are desirable, possible, and that live in language. We need to actually visualize our dreams, to have those targets, to be able to envision it. That's why we have our dream board. We're visual creatures. We look up to be able to feel what that's going to feel like when we accomplish those dreams. The more specific your dreams are, the more you pinpoint those dreams, not just, oh, I want a dream house. Oh, I want a big house. It is, where do you want your dream house? How big is your dream house? What are the things that are going to be in this dream house that you are working for? Feel it, walk through it. If you want to go on a trip with your family, when? How much? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do there? Feel it, live it, visualize it, have that certain target of your dream. And in that definition, Dan had the word rut in there, and he kind of told it a little story that made everybody giggle, but it gave us a visual of what a rut is. And he told a story about Mama and Daddy Deer finding a creek, making a little deer den, whatever, a place where they lived. And they'd go down to the creek every day. They'd mat the grass down, go down to the creek every day, come back. And when they had babies, they taught their babies to stay in that one place because that's where it was safe, that's where it was comfortable. And they every day went down to the water and back, and they never ventured out of that comfort zone, and they created a rut. They never knew what was out there, what was possible for their lives, because they were taught to stay in that rut. And we all have a biological tendency to stay in a rut. It's not necessarily a comfortable or happy rut, but it's familiar. So we need, and you all have already taken that big step to get out of that rut. You're here. You've joined LuLaRoe. So you've kind of widened that rut, or stepped out of that rut or that path, which is amazing. We just need to find that dream of why we stepped off and make it specific. And I read in another book, another animal analogy that I loved was the analogy of the baby circus elephant. When they're first born, they will tie a 6-inch rope to their leg and tether it to the ground. So the baby elephant knows that it can only go so far. It can't venture out. It's got to stay there. And after a year, it kind of breaks its spirit, and they can control him with just a little fishing line, because it learns that it has limitations. It can't go anywhere. It can't dream to go past. And our biological tendency is to put limitations on ourselves from a very, very young age, whether our teachers or parents or whoever said, oh, you can't do that. Well, let's think, realistically here. We live in an apartment. You're not going to have a dream house. Let's think realistically here. So at a very young age, we create illusions for ourselves to hold ourselves back. So we don't want to put that huge dream up there that, maybe that stepping stone dream is your dream house. But there's so much more that you can do with your life. Thinking outside your family, thinking outside of the realistic bubble, the realistic that we say is realistic bubble, is so huge. I've gone off my notes. I've gone off on a tangent. But we get caught up in our own little world, and it's kind of a dangerous place to be, because how we see our world, it determines how we live our lives. And I just read yesterday that there are 6 billion people on the planet, and if we would reduce that to 100 people, 68 of them would be illiterate. 68. One of them, only one, has been to college. 33 of those 100 are dying from hunger, and 33 are dying from lack of justice. And I don't say this to make your dreams any less, your trips or your house or whatever. I'm saying those are amazing dreams, and a lot of us are accomplishing them. And if that's what you want, put it up on your dream board and go for it. But I think we're all missing this huge dream of changing people's lives, of doing enormous things, and to get out of our own little bubble of dreams and taking those stepping stones of the new house, the new car, those trips, getting out of debt. And while those are so amazing, and if you work hard, you could do those, dreaming huge and dreaming big and reevaluating who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and this enormous opportunity that we all have in our lives right now to do incredible things. Dan taught us, he taught us how to dream, first off, giving us the list, talking to people, really digging deep inside yourself and seeing what lights that spark in you, what you get up every morning and you want to do, what makes you smile and giddy and jump up and down when you get to do it, and think outside the box of maybe what other people are doing on their list, or just getting out there and finding what lights that spark in you, and then thinking beyond that. And people have done it. People in this company that are making 100, 200,000 a month are no smarter than you. These are just real women that are working hard. And it's the truth that you can accomplish that. And if you believe that, you can achieve it. And I know you've heard that a few times, but that's one of my things on my mirror in the morning. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And it's so true in this company. And we need to commit to it. Once your dream board is up, having those goals of the way mine is right now, and the way I should have wrote his name down. Matthew Kelly is the book Dream Manager that I have been reading. To start with your realistic, within a year, within 12-month goals at the bottom, check them off. Your next goals, 1 to 5 years, check them off. And then your 5-year goals. What if I hit all those? What if I get all those? And it's almost, what if I win the lottery kind of goals? What would I do if I won that Powerball, that $170 million Powerball, and I could dream beyond what my mind can comprehend to dream? Putting those at the top and putting them in the your 5-year goal, which I think is awesome. And when I look up at the top of my dream board, it makes me giddy. And it does not make selling another piece a chore, which it was becoming for me, because I didn't have anything to look forward to, or something to say, oh, well, now what? Why am I doing this? Just to see other people quit their jobs, which was awesome too. And that's why I kept on going, but I didn't have that spark in me. Hold on just a second. I know I skipped over a lot of stuff I wanted to catch on. They defined a SMART goal as being the SMART, S being specific, which we touched on before, having it so you could see it, visualize it, taste it, smell it, walk through that place. M for measurable, which we talked about too. 3, action-oriented. What are you going to do to get there? Figure out the mortgage on that house you want, figure out what that trip is going to cost, and then break it down in how many pieces you have to sell per day, per month, whatever you need to do, whatever color you are, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you motivated, how much you have to do that. Realistic or relevant. And then the T is time specific. Set those 12-month goals, 1 to 5-year goals, 5 and over goals. And don't limit yourself. The sky's the limit with this. It really is. I mean, Brittany can tell you, some of the top ladies can tell you that they it was probably hard for them to dream that they are what they are doing right now. Britt, did you dream that you'd be in Hawaii as much as you are?
No, or making near what I'm making right now. It's incredible. Sometimes it's like you feel like it's out of reach, but it's not.
It's not. And he touched on, if you have those dreams, but you don't have the goals to support them, it's really kind of overwhelming. So say I wanted to start an orphanage in Africa, and I have that at the top of my board, but I have no goals. I have no game plan. I have nothing. It feels so out of reach. What are you going to do today to make that first little dream come true? Maybe it's paying off that credit card. What are you going to do today? How much is that credit card? How much do you have to, if that's within your 12-month goal, how much do you have to sell this week to pay, over the minimum payment this week on that credit card and to get it paid off? Make those goals specific. Check that off and go to the next bigger one, always with your eyes set on that realistic high goal. And the opposite is true. He wrote, if you have goals but no dreams, you can easily fall into that trap of focusing so much on the steps of selling. How much do I have to sell today? Oh, how much? Now how much? Now how much? That you lose sight of your big destination, or you lose sight of your why. So in short, you need both those dreams. You need those dream boards. Plus you need your goals, your specific goals that you have a plan for and that are written down, that plan of attack. And that's all I had written down. Oh, my last little thought was from, I think it was from Ben Franklin, if I remember. He said, most people don't fail in life because they aim too high and miss. It's because they aim too low and hit. And that really resonated with me. I heard it the other day, and I was just thinking about it in the shower today, going, it's not that I aim too high and miss, but what if I aim too low and I hit? I don't know. I just want to leave you with that to ponder your life on those words. And hopefully I helped you a little bit. Set some new goals. Set that dream board a little bit higher and more specific.
That was amazing. Thank you. Michelle, did you want to add some of what you learned too?
Okay, so Julie actually covered so much of it. I actually messaged Dan Rouse because I saw that Becky wrote a YouTube video down there, but in searching for him, I couldn't really find the talk that he gave us, and I wanted to re-listen to it prior to this webinar. And so I messaged him and said that we were going to be doing a training for our team. Is there anywhere that he has video that he could share with me that I would be able to watch? So he actually did a talk for another company, and that was videotaped, and he was able to link it to me. So I sent it to the coaches with Pumped Up Chicks so that we can share it with our team, and I'll probably post it on Pumped Up Chicks. But he used another term for the rut, and he called it the humdrum conundrum, which I thought was kind of catchy. When I first started LuLaRoe, fairly close to the beginning, Brittany had talked to me, and I had told her about somebody named Dana Wild that I had listened to doing some training, and she talks about train the brain. And when I listened to Dan Ralph's doing this talk, it was very similar to ours, but he went into a little bit different detail. He talked about how our brains are always predicting the future. Our predictions are based on the past, and our actions are consistent with our predictions of the future. So if we're predicting the future based on things that have already happened to us, which probably isn't outside of that rut because it's how we live by default, we're kind of planning our future to be the exact same way unless we get out of that default way that we're living life. He did say as entrepreneurs, we're already bucking that system, and he says that we need to be able to create instead of just exist. And I think that LuLaRoe is opening up that opportunity for us, because what do they tell us all the time about being creators? All of these people who are successful are kind of preaching the same thing to us. We need to be able to dream and envision so much more than we have, because if we just keep looking at what we've already accomplished, that's pretty much our limit. that's our scope of where we're going to be in life. We're going to dismiss things without considering them fully, without any consideration. I really like how I said this to my team, and I don't think I said it on Pumped Up Chicks, but I'm a Dave Ramsey person. And when you do the debt snowball, you start with the smallest little debt and you pay that off. Because when you pay that off, it gives you this sense of motivation. And you're like, holy cow, I really did it. And then you move on to the next debt. And then you keep going until you get to that, to pay off that biggest debt. He wants us to focus on those small accomplishments. And Dan Ross went into a little bit more detail on this video about a guy that came to him within his company. And he talked to us about it at the LuLaRoe leadership training, where he came and he said he wanted to get an Xbox. Like, that was his dream. And at first Dan was like, really? Like, he wants an Xbox? That's like the limit of what he thinks he can accomplish. And he got the Xbox. And then the next time that they met, he actually said that him and his wife were thinking about having children, and they wanted to do it within a year, and they really would like for his wife to be at home and not working. And so Dan asked him, how much would you have to make in order for that to happen? And he said, I would need double. And he said, well, if we're dreaming, like we're really dreaming, not what would you need, but what would you want? And he said, triple. And a year later, he was $100 a month off from tripling his income, and they were able to reach that dream and that goal. Dan actually joked about potentially just giving him a $1,200 check so that he could cover that $100 a month so that he actually fully met that goal or that dream. But and Dan doesn't actually say this in any of his talks, but to my team, when I talked with them, when you make that list of 100 dreams, what can you check off, especially if you're an or a gold? Because goals, and Dan talked about this too, we want to check that off because it gives us that sense of accomplishment and increases that motivation. What on your dream board, or what on that list of 100 dreams can you check off quickly to say, holy cow, I really can reach these dreams, so that you can continue to dream higher and higher. Because as we accomplish these dreams and we get out of that rut, it actually increases our circle of influence. And that's really what we're trying to do with LuLaRoe, is increase that circle of influence so that we can bless others and serve others and give more to others, not just so that we can accomplish our goals and dreams, but so that our team members and our friends and our family can as well. I'm going to make sure he didn't say anything else that I really, really want to make sure that I mention. I do want to say that when you're doing your goals, don't make them all LuLaRoe related. I mean, we want them to be LuLaRoe related, some of them, but think about what dreams are you wanting to accomplish in your business, your life, and your marriage, everything in general. And he talked about dreams are not reasonable, but he keeps saying that they're possible. But I really loved at the end of this talk that he said, what is the line? Like, what's possible and what's not possible. And I love that at the end of the talk that I just listened to, that I'll post to Pumped Up Chicks, that he said that anything really is. Like, anything is possible. And there was something else. He talked about 2 things that you need to do to accomplish and dream big things. And when I thought about this, all of the lenses kind of came into my head. He said that we need to be somebody with a really good imagination, because people with imagination, we can see the world and all of its possibilities, but we kind of suffer with execution sometimes. So he's saying that we really need to practice and exercise integrity, committing to what we say we're going to do, committing to those goals. So don't actually commit to doing something that you are not going to follow through with. And then there are people that dream, really good dreamers that have that imagination. There are people who execute really well. And so they're really good at following through at what they've committed to do. They have that checklist, they check it off, they're probably gold. But their challenge is that imagination. They can get things done, but they're getting things done within that same rut, within that same prediction that, that we kind of started out with in the beginning. They're making those things in their brain happen that are all based on past predictions. So we need to imagine and we need to execute. And the biggest word that he used to me is integrity. Look up, I know we know what integrity is, but look up the definition of integrity and watch Dan Ross' video, because he is absolutely amazing. And I think he's putting something together for some LuLaRoe people who might want to have a little bit lengthier of a training from him instead of just 30 to 60 minutes. So be on the lookout for that, because he's asked if I'd like to participate, and I'll be sharing that with you guys.
Look at you. See, and that's the thing, like, that resonated with Michelle. And so what she did is she went to the source. She went to him and asked him, like, what she can do and how she can get help for just not only her, but her team. So a lot of us, we go through these trainings, and as leaders, we'd give anything to just give it all to you guys, because we're like, we need so-and-so and so-and-so. So we do the best we can to send it back out to you. But I mean, Michelle, that's no different than me going to Deanne after my party and saying, I need more skirts. Like, what can I do to get more? And, you know, taking those things, those wants and those desires that you have in your life and making them happen. And what I love that Julie also, you know, it just kept coming back and back into my head is, what are you doing to get to those goals? What are you doing to move yourself forward? What are you doing? It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you. It's up to us as fashion consultants, and you guys have the means to provide for those things. You guys have a business that if you work it harder, you'll get paid more. And a lot of people are in this 9-to-5 job. If you work harder, you get a pat on the back. You get, you know, a thank you sometimes. You're working for somebody else. We are not working for anybody but our own little corporations of our families, whether it be you and your husband, whether it just be you and be an example to your team, whether it be, you know, there's so many different ways. Wherever you're at in your life, the goals and dreams that you want, because of LuLaRoe, and because it offers you the ability to have the freedom to make more money, if it be money. I mean, a lot of dreams and goals are money based. I mean, what he said that he wanted, his biggest dream is to be on the Jimmy Fallon show and to do dream managing with Jimmy Fallon. And he's like, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to say that every speech I do, because one day somebody in the audience is going to know Jimmy Fallon and they're going to get me on that. And he knows it, and he said it like 6 different times. And the other one was he wants to ride or drive is it a convoy? I can't, sorry, someone was calling. A convoy or some kind of like big truck in the desert. What was it?
I think you just used the word tank.
Tank. Like, he wants to drive a tank in the desert. It's not an army tank. It's not, you know, a tank. Maybe it's an army tank. He's going to find out how that's going to happen. And, you know, Mark then stood up there and he's like, my gosh, my dreams are, I mean, so much of them have come true. Like, what do I even dream? And he put it out there to us. He wants to be on one of the first spaceships to go to outer space when they allow civilians to go to outer space. He's going to be on that, right? He's going to do it. Like, I know he will. And when he does, I'm going to be sitting down here cheering. Deanne's going to be freaking out because she doesn't think he'll come back. But that's what she said. She's like, don't say that. She was freaking out. But that's something he desires and he wants. And and one other thing that, there was so much great. I want some of the trainers to come on and share what they learned, because the trainers last week was incredible too. I've heard such great report. If you guys become trainer, when you become trainer, get to those training the trainers. I know even Melly and Kimmy, I don't know if either one of you guys are on, but Kimmy and Melly both got to come to the leadership in October. And they were both kind of like, well, do I go again? It's expensive to get there to California, but I want to be there. Are either of you on, Melly or Kimmy? Unmute and cut me off if you're on. But man, they came back with so much. So much. And Carolyn, I mean, you shared so much. Are any of you guys on that were at training the trainers that could share a little bit about what you learned? One thing that Mark shared, that a video from that I watched from him said, I am not chasing $1 billion. I have never gotten into this business to chase $1 billion. I'm chasing happiness. I'm chasing service. I'm chasing freedom. And $1 billion just happened to come. And that's one thing that you guys have to understand. As you're chasing things that bless other people's lives, you're doing it and you're receiving so much more. And your goals, it's just so amazing. Are any of the trainers on that want to cut me off and share real quick that we're at training the trainers? I don't know how to exit out of myself. Anybody? I know. Okay, well, if you guys aren't offering yourselves up, then
Hey,
you guys. Yeah, who is it?
it's Janelle. I look
yes,
that's from the gym.
Please share a little bit. You're good. I heard it was so incredible.
It was amazing. So what do you want? Like just any of it? You want me to just share any of
What
it?
stood out to you the most? Like, do you know the talk I'm talking about that Mark, someone shared it in the trainers chat, and there's some of it we can't share
The
publicly.
end that he talked about.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Yes.
Let's see. I know there's a lot of that he didn't really want us to share. I
Well,
think,
just how he was chasing, like what he was chasing after and what came from it.
yeah. So something that this stood out. So I've been with LuLaRoe for almost 2 years. Next month will be 2 years. And for me, I didn't start building a team until last year because I really had no idea that that was even something possible to do. And you know, I could have really just said, yeah, heck with it. Because I was having a lot of setbacks. I was having a lot of girls say they were going to sign up, then they would sign up with different companies, then they would just drop. And I wasn't making my goal of hitting trainer by May. And I really could have just kind of said, you know what, I'm just going to keep selling and that's all I need to do. But I put my mind to it, and you know, it took me longer, but I made trainer by November and it was great. And I have a team of girls that are fantastic. And so for me, the whole thing was amazing, but we went over the 4 lenses, and I had done it with Brittany. She had sent me everything, and listening to it again at training was absolutely amazing. And how, if we can teach this to our girls and find out what they are, just how much more our teams will grow, how will it grow personally, how our families can grow if we, you know, take it and do it with our families. And just I don't know, it really struck me. And so like I was able to get some extras so I can do things with my team. And you know, and you don't get those things unless you ask. I went and I asked and said, hey, I want to do this with my team. Can I get more things so that I am more prepared and I can actually, you know, be really good at doing this? And it's going to take time. It's going to take time for me. I'm ordering the book so that I can really, really learn about all of those lenses. Because, you know, it just gives you a surface at the top when you're looking at the cards. But if you really take the time to learn about them, then you can be a better leader. You can be a better teacher. Your team can be better at what they're doing, and they can start improving on their personal life and their business life, which will in turn help your whole team. So I think the 4 lenses was the biggest thing for me at training. Being able to listen to everyone's whys. When Deanne spoke, that was really encouraging. Just everybody is in such a different place, and everybody has such different reasons for becoming a part of this company. Mine was simple. I wanted one extra thing for my kids to be able to do, because we were living on pennies. We lived in a resort town, and we could afford our bills at the very minimum. That's what we had. And guess what? My kids are all doing 1 or more activities, and we've got lots of extra money, you know, to be able to just put to savings. We're going on a trip to Legoland in March that my kids have been so excited for, but they earned it because they help. They're part of this company. They're part of my business. It's our family business. And being able to involve them has helped them know, well, mom has to go to work, and we are getting the benefit because we're helping her unpackage her boxes and do different things. And they see dollar bills going into our Legoland jar because they're helping. And so I think with the 4 lenses, I'm going to be able to get our kids on board even more, because I'll be able to understand them better, and I will be able to have their help in the best way possible. So 4 lenses for me, that was like the best part, because it really resonated with me. So there you go.
Was there anything that stood out to you about the culture of the business that you didn't know before that maybe like hit you pretty hard of how they are treating this business?
Yes. So we got to go to the warehouse, and that was absolutely phenomenal. We got to see all of these people working so hard for us. 2,000 people are working in the warehouse right now, Fontana. I think it's just at that warehouse that there's 2,000 employees. They do 3 shifts, 8-hour shifts a day, 6 days a week. And that was huge for me. Cause people are working in the back, to be getting us our stuff. But they were working hard. They had smiles on their faces. We were all going live and having them say hi to everybody in our teams. And, just seeing that, what LuLaRoe is doing and making possible for us to have all of these, dreams that we're talking about today, it's because they're working so hard on their end. And so for me, I realize I need to be working even harder on my end because of how hard they're working for us. I don't think I can say the actual number, but at the end of the night, Mark said, shipping isn't really free, because we all think, we get this free shipping from LuLaRoe. The number he told us that they spend on shipping every week for UPS blew my mind. And I don't know if I can say it, so I'm not going to. But you guys, shipping is not free by any means. So please be grateful for that. Send a note to, home office saying, thanks so much for shipping our packages for us. You guys, it's insane. They do so much for us. So for me, I'm going to work harder because I can see how much they are doing for us. And just even these trainings, yes, we have to pay to get to trainings. You know what? That's 10% of what our business should be. We should be putting 10%. They went through a little diagram of training, and that's just how it is. That's how we support them, by doing better on our businesses.
I love that. Thank you so much. It is, and Mark shared the number with us too. I don't think they really told us, but there's only a few people on here. So I mean, it's over $1 million a week. A week. So we're just going to put that out there, you guys. And one thing that stood out to me that I learned, I don't know where, how, or why, I'm always learning from other people. You guys have to understand, Mark and Deanne are just another set of consultants. They are running their own LuLaRoe business. If shipping is down, think of what it's doing to them. Think of what is happening with the workers. Think of what's happening with the IT department. Like, they're running their own business too. They are there to support us in every way, shape, and form. And I hope that you guys understand that and share that with your team. Like, when things are down, Audrey's been really finicky this last weekend. Think of what that's doing for them. They're running their own LuLaRoe business as well, so we can run ours successful too. So think about that. If you have your girls coming to you, and if you have people like having a hard time with anything, help them understand, like, we are all becoming Mark and Deanne in our own way. And they are the best examples of the culture of this life that we want to live. Yeah, downtime in the warehouse is super stressful, Erin. Like, I can't even imagine. I'm going to get some of you girls that were there to do the webinar next week and share with us some of the stuff, because, I mean, there's stuff that you guys learned that I've never heard before. And the way that you feel the culture, get to an event. Just like Janelle just said, 10% of your money, make it your goal to get to an Inspire, to get to convention. Unfortunately, convention might not be in everybody's control, but if it's in your control, save up now. You need to have $1,000 set aside for convention. Somebody came to me and said, somebody said we need $700 to $800. I'm like, no, I'd have $1,000 set to the side. Because what if you had the chance and let's say they picked somebody to go pick up a whole shipment at the warehouse. Like, who knows? I don't think it's going to happen. But what if it did? Have it. Be prepared. You need to have your flight ready to go. You need to have your hotel money ready to go. You need to have money ready, set aside, so you can pay for that convention ticket, whatever the cost might be. Because no matter what it takes, you guys all need to be there, and you need to be sharing this with your team. This is not just for you. This is to share. You guys need to get the water to the end of the row. You guys that are on these calls and on these trainings, if you are sponsoring anybody, they should be knowing this as well. I say have $1,000 set aside ready to go. So good training, because less people so you can get more direct learning. Exactly, Carolyn. Like, that's exactly right. As you guys strive to hit trainer, get there. The reason you hit trainer is because the girls below you are selling product. You guys, we will be a sales-based company. And the reason they do not call us an MLM is because we're driving sales. We're not a company that's driving people to sign up and just have some kit sit in their garage. Like, that makes Mark sick. We do not want to see consultants buying into this business and then having inventory sit in their garage. That's not what they are wanting this business to be like. This business is about selling product and getting that product to people, because the way it blesses people's lives. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to go to our church. We're of the LDS faith, and we got to go to our Mormon church yesterday, and I couldn't even walk in the door before this big Samoan guy just walks up and embraces us in this huge hug. And it's interesting because I'm like, this is LuLaRoe. I mean, if you've been to a LuLaRoe event, how many hugs do you get? I mean, typically you're just hugging everybody, and if you're not, you should be hugging everybody, because everybody has all the feels. And we walk in, and I mean to tell you, afterwards, I had 6 different women come up to me and say, is that LuLaRoe? Oh my gosh, we love LuLaRoe. And they're going to come shop here at my house, or I'm going to bring my stuff up to there. And I was wearing LuLaRoe. I was excited about it. There was a girl wearing a Julia from 2 years ago. It was a 2-year ago print. And another girl wearing a Cassie from 2 years ago. And it's everywhere, you guys. We are spreading it everywhere, and people love it. And you're serving those around you as you're doing your business. So think about that, and just remember that, this business is up to you. And make those goals, make those dreams, share them with us, so we all can see and hear and help hold you accountable to them. And one more thing I want to end with that Dan said, and maybe I think Michelle may have shared a little bit about this, but I'm just going to touch on my side of it. Is the guy that wanted to just start riding his bike to work every single day. And it was interesting because Dan finally was just like, hey, when can you start? Do you need to go buy a bike? When will you have a bike bought by? So goals are dreams with deadlines, right? Goals are dreams with deadlines. So give yourself a deadline on some of these. You guys, I put my dream out there on Facebook. I want to out. I will rent that house in 2018 in June back here on Hawaii. And I will, give me just a sec where I can help you. And I will be here with some of my LuLaRoe family. And I am so excited about that. I'm going to make the goals that I have happen and reach for them as best I can. So please share. Please share your goals and your dreams with us. And let's make this an amazing training. As we all work together to help lift one another in our businesses. And please, please, please share this. If you are a sponsor, share this. Get the water to the end of the row, like we always say. Please get to the water to the end of the row as you are doing these. Share with the people that you've sponsored in this business. It's your duty as a sponsor. So Michelle, Julie, Janelle, thank you guys so much. Julie, that was an incredible breakdown. And as you guys see, there is this, I'm almost, okay, well, we're going to post this. I think Michelle said this is the same one. So this YouTube video that Mark shared, maybe since we're all on here, if you need to get off, you can get off. Hang on just a second.
My dream is this.
I'm going to do a screen
Before I
share.
did this, I used to be a history teacher. And so don't judge. But I used to be a history teacher, and I love the study of history. And when I study history, here's what I learned. That the relationship between employer and employee is, for the most part, adversarial. Like from the pyramids on down, for the feudal system, everything was, I'm the employer, I have all the resources, you employee get to serve me until I'm done with you. And as soon as I become dissatisfied with you, you're out the door and good luck trying to survive. And that's been, now, obviously we've evolved to the point where it's a little bit more amicable than that, where we're nice to people, we understand the value of that. And when you look at the early American Revolution, we look at the early industrial age, and even through the age of leadership that we've just passed through, we see this kind of evolution of employers understanding that to value their employees at a different level actually isn't just a nice thing to do, but it actually works economically. That employees who are cared for actually produce better, just like fields that are taken care of produce better. That's not the only reason we should be nice to people, but it kind of works out nice in a nice way because it's a capitalistic benefit to do it. And so my dream is this. See, I believe that the next evolution, the next step in us moving towards a different relationship between employer and employees will go something like this. Employee, listen, I understand you're a human being. I see you